Last night, Georgia voters chose which candidates will compete in the November elections, representing their district, county, and state.
I felt that it's my duty to get out and vote.
Earlier this year, Congressman John Linder announced he would be retiring after serving the 7th District for nearly 18 years. His chief of staff, Rob Woodall, among 7 other Republicans and 1 Democrat, will compete to represent District 7. Last night, with 36%, Rob Woodall will now square off August 10th against Republican candidate Jody Hice, nabbing 26%. Now, what kind of message were you sending to voters?
I'll tell you a little story to answer that by way of a story. Somebody asked me the other day if we were doing any polling, and I said I'm not doing any polling because the only thing a poll tells you is which direction you ought to go. The direction we've been going this entire campaign is just to share my heart and my vision, and if folks don't like that, there's no other place I can go from that. That's what the voters decide, and that's when they accept it or reject it. It's been incredibly gratifying that we've been sharing that vision, and folks have responded to it so well.
After a forum in our neighborhood, Rob was the last candidate there. He stayed until every person's question had been answered. He didn't always give an answer that people wanted to hear, but it was an honest answer. He listened to their questions. He treated their questions intelligently and didn't give a scripted soundbite. And at the end of all of it, because we were hosting the forum, he was there loading boxes of supplies into my van to help us put things away. And to me, that's the person that's going to work for us in Congress.
Can you tell me how you used new media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, how you used it in your campaign, and if you think it worked well, if it helped you reach a new demographic?
That's a fair question. I'm trying to think through when that transpired. I'll tell you, I've got the least number of Facebook friends in this entire race. I'm apparently that's not where my voter is. But I welcome everyone to come out and join and be a fan of our Facebook page. But what it has done is give us an opportunity to communicate with those people who are passionate. I mean, it is a giant volunteer network. Instead of having to have a staff meeting every day, we can share things with folks on Facebook.
Part of Woodall's message: there would be no training. The 7th District will be as well represented on day 1 as it was on Linder's last day. Now, were you expecting things to turn out the way that they did tonight?
Well, we are the underdog, Laura, and I've always felt like the underdog. We got in the race late. We got in for all the right reasons, but still a month after the other candidates. And so we came into tonight expecting to be the underdog. So no, I didn't expect to come out on top. I can't tell you how satisfying it is that our message had that effect. But we're going to have to shift gears. I still think we'll call ourselves the underdog going into the next 3 weeks. I mean, we're not professional politicians. We're not the folks you would expect to see on the ballot. We're just a public servant who believes in a tax plan, who believes in constituent service. And as you saw with the folks who are here tonight, we're not at the fanciest country club in town. We're not doing anything that's highbrow. We're just a bunch of guys who believe that America's better days can be ahead. And we're going to keep doing that day in and day out until August 10th.
August 10th will decide whether Woodall or Hice will face off against unopposed Democrat Doug Heckman, who you may remember ran against Linder in 2008. Another District 7 candidate, Clay Cox, collected 20%. Running for his old seat, State House 102, B.J. Pack hooked nearly 35%. Trailing close behind, Linda Karsten with 26% and Keith Royal with a little over 23%. A tight race in County Commission District 2, Republican candidate Lynette Howard leading with nearly 42%. Keith Schubert following with close to 34% and Jose Perez finishing with 24%. Republicans in County Commission District 4 race, John Hurd and Tim Sullivan, proved to be top dogs and will square off August 10th. Hurd gathered 29% of the vote, following close Tim Sullivan with 22% and a close third Tommy Hunter with 21.41% of the vote. Former Mayor of Snellville, Brett Harrell, won State House 106 with close to 54%. A tight race, GOP opponent Warren Ald finished with 46%. Results are unofficial until they're approved by the Secretary of State. Candidates facing the GOP runoff August 10th are now prepping and readjusting their campaign to be the winning GOP candidate in the November elections. Those races include County Commission District 2 and 4 and State House 102. In Buford, Laura Holm, GBC News.